Hi. So why do bright children, sometimes brilliant children, keep guessing short words when they're reading? And why does that get worse as they get older instead of better? So the first thing to understand is these are very bright visual learners. And so when they started to learn to read, then they found that they could just memorize the words in the book because the words often repeat from page to page, don't they? And there's usually only about 10, 12 words in the book. And so these children find it really easy just to memorize them. And that looks pretty good when you're sat with them. You know, they might make mistakes, but they're learning to read, so that's sort of normal. And they're getting through the book quite well. Everyone's happy. But slowly, as the number of words in the book gets more and more extensive, then that technique gets harder and harder, doesn't it? So what you find is that as you go on, they start to rely on the context, like the picture, a lot more, and the context within the sentence. And some words will be fairly obvious what they are. So if you're reading a book about African wildlife and there's a picture of an elephant and there's a long word starting EL, well, it might be elephant, mightn't it? So you're in a pretty good shape to guess that. But the short link words like this, that, there, those, these, them, then, they all look pretty similar, don't they? And they're quite interchangeable in a sentence. Of course, when you switch them, you do change the meaning of the sentence, but it's very difficult to use the context to be sure which one it is. So what's the solution in that situation? Well, we have to get them practicing the decoding, don't we? So all reading development, all reading progress really comes from your reading practice. And what they haven't been doing is practicing that decoding process because it seems slower and more tedious than doing their sight recall technique. So we need to create a situation where the decoding seems the easier option than just trying to recall the words. And so there are classically two possible ways you can do that. The first one, which goes back, many decades, is you can use nonsense words. You cannot guess a nonsense word because you've never seen it before. So you have to really start looking at the letters and try to work it out. And that does work if you do enough of it. The problem is, how boring can you make it? I can't really think of a more boring educational task. So the approach we much prefer is to use what we call trainer text. So this is like the training wheels on a bike, which save you a lot of bruises as a young child. So trainer text scaffolds the reading decoding process so that the child can decode every word and knows that they can decode every word, and therefore gets the dopamine of doing that and starts to enjoy that decoding process. And this can really take days, to start to see that. If you want to have a look at trainer text, then search online. There's different forms of trainer text which suit different ages, and you can create your own trainer text quite easily. So there we go. This is such a huge one for me because these children have such enormous potential, but they've gone down the wrong path with reading. They've gone into the woods. They were not to know that they were heading down the wrong path. They just did what they seemed easiest. So if you search for trainer text online, you'll find information there. We have multiple products that use trainer text. We love trainer text. So All Aboard Phonics is our early years curriculum that uses a lot of trainer text in the daily reading practice. We have the reading co-pilot system for older students in school. And then if you're working with a child at home, then we'd recommend the Easy Read system, where we have a whole process for turning this around, making progress fast and easy and fun. So my name's David Morgan. I run All Aboard Learning. Do contact us if you have any questions about this. And if this has been interesting, please do share it. It's one of our little secrets of reading success series. There are other ones with different patterns explained and different solutions for each pattern.